Hi, welcome back to Art and Soul. My name is Mike Severin. I'm so glad you could join me again today. I feel honored every week to be able to come into your home and to do this little painting show, inspirational show with you, and hopefully it's being a blessing to you, and maybe you're gleaning some information that might help you in your own painting. Maybe you're just watching just for the fun of it. Maybe the words that I say resonate with you. Can help you through your day. That's what this is all about, trying to encourage you to be creative, trying to give you some positive things in your life so that you can go into the world and handle all of the stuff that we've got going, and that's a lot right now. So hopefully you're enjoying the show. If you're watching and have been and like what you're seeing, I'd love to hear from you. So we've got our regular basic 16 by 20 canvas here that we're working on. And let me go through the palette really quickly with you so you have an idea what we've got going here. We have, it's really hard to see a little bit because of the color, the light here, but we have dioxazine purple here, some burnt sienna, we have phthalo blue, we have a cad orange, a cad red, cad yellow, and our Payne's gray with our titanium white. And I think we're just going to start putting some paint down and see what we come up with today. Maybe a little ocean scene, I'm not sure. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab with my big 3-inch brush, just a big wad of that titanium white, and I'm just going to just kind of scumble that onto our canvas and scrub that up a little bit into the sides, and you're going, I can't see what that's doing, and that's okay, because at this point all we're doing is just putting down just a little bit of something so that when we start incorporating in our other colors, it's going to stand out. So I've just thrown some of that onto the canvas, and now what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab a little bit of the phthalo blue, and we'll start right up here in the corner, and I'm just going to bring that right across the top. And phthalo blue is just, I love the color. It's just a beautiful, beautiful color of blue. And if you notice here, what's happening is when I'm coming down, because I've got that titanium white that's on there, so it's lightening it up, giving us this beautiful color of light blue there. And I think what I want to do is let's just say that our ocean, maybe our water line comes across about here for our horizon line. So we're just going to do I'm grabbing a little more titanium white, and I'm just, if you notice the motion here, kind of these big circle motion, if you would, but you can probably hear it. There's a lot of pressure that I'm applying because I'm basically just scrubbing this into the canvas. We're basically just trying to cover up all of those so we don't have any of the white showing from the canvas. We've got a nice strong blue there. We're going to grab a little more of that titanium white because I want this to kind of lighten up as it comes down towards the bottom here, towards the horizon line. And just these kind of X strokes, scrubbing again. We're just scrubbing this in. We're just trying to get basically coverage over our entire top of the canvas here in that sky area. And there's a few spots here that we're going to leave where we're going to develop some more clouds in here, but this is kind of a nice, we're going to say this is kind of like a nice little summer day at the beach. I'm doing this taping here, and it's the end of February, and we have had such a strong winter as far as the weather has been. A lot of snow, which is very uncharacteristic where I'm at here in Salem, Oregon, and but we've definitely had some interesting weather this year, and I am looking forward to some nice weather and maybe hitting the beach myself later on. Wouldn't that be nice to have some nice warm water to go crawl into? And if you've noticed here, what I'm doing is I was talking, I'm just going back and forth with the strokes, and even a little bit at a slant here. And we'll probably maybe have, where I have left the white here, maybe we'll have a breaker that's coming down across here, and maybe a few rolling waves in the background. But we're just trying to get, basically, again, just trying to get some color onto the canvas here. And I'll just grab a little bit more of that, bring in more titanium white in there, and I think that's probably pretty good. And then without cleaning my brush, I'm just grabbing a little bit of that burnt sienna, and we'll go pretty strong with it down here in this corner, and we'll cross like that. This will be maybe a little bit of the sand beach area that's showing across right there. Maybe we'll do maybe even a sailboat in there. Who knows where we'll go with the painting, but that's a nice start. And if you notice, it's very simple the way I did it with that 3-inch brush, able to cover the canvas very quickly, very easily. And we've created, just by what we've done there, very obviously we've got a nice little ocean scene. The biggest thing that I see a lot of times when people are painting beginners is they will have their water line, it will be at an angle. Make sure that that horizon line is a nice even straight across. And again, if you notice, we did not go into the halfway, the middle part. We went below halfway, and that's, again, this would be one of the breaking waves. We did not have that centered in the middle of the canvas. We had it offset a little bit. So, and if you notice, the reason why I did this with the beach here was to offset this wave that we're going to develop in here, so it'll balance out. So always be thinking in terms of composition and what you're doing and how that equates into the painting that you're developing. So let me grab a little bit more titanium white here, and we will develop. Actually, I think what I'll do is I'm going to go a different direction here. I think before I do that, I think what I want to do is maybe darken up just a hair bit in these corners, but I want to show you on the waves themselves. A lot of times water action is difficult for people. They get confused with it and not sure how it works. So let's take, I'm going to grab just a little bit more of that phthalo straight out of the tube, and we're going to kind of just go back and forth. And these are kind of almost they're horizontal, but there's a little bit of a sway to them. And just this little motion here with the brush actually develops and gives the illusion of waves that are there. I'll do a little bit further across over here. And this phthalo blue is just so beautiful. I love the colors of it. and it goes well into what you would see, especially you know, if you're on a nice day, you'll see these colors in the water, and it's just beautiful. I love spending time at the beach for that reason. Just looking at all the colors that are involved. So that looks pretty good like that. Hopefully that's showing up well for you. And if you notice, I layered so that there's light areas, there's dark areas, and these light areas we can take and develop those as they are, as if they were little rolling waves. I think what I want to do is maybe off here in the background, I want to have maybe a little bit of a coastline, maybe that is coming off. You can see off in the distance. Maybe this is over in Hawaii even. Who knows? That's the fun part about painting, is you can kind of make up stories about where it's at and what's going on in the painting. That makes it fun. But that looks kind of nice. Gives that a little bit of like it's maybe a piece of land that's sticking out there. And I'm just using this brush, and I kind of just swept it in a little bit, but then I came back in with some upward strokes. Just gives a little bit different feel to it, like there's something maybe that's happening on that distant. Again, it's so far away that you're not going to have a whole lot of detail there, and that's fine. I think we're going to do maybe something very similar over here. Maybe this is kind of maybe an inlet here, or area of along the beach. Maybe it's going out into, maybe it's going back to regular land. So the thing I want to point out really quickly is here, if you notice when I brought this land across here, even though our horizon line is here, by bringing this the way it was, it made it look like the water is running off of our canvas, and we don't want to do that. So we want to make sure that line is very, very defined where that horizon line is. We don't want the water all running off the canvas and onto the floor. Going to make a mess there in the house. So so that's a really nice beginning. I think what I want to do before I get too far working in the water, I want to come back up here a little bit in the sky, and maybe darken up these corners a little bit. Not much, but just a little bit, and maybe using this, I can bring in some color, and we've got already a little bit of that little light blue there, and by bringing in a different tone of blue, it takes and adds almost like a little layer of clouds that are developed there. And you know, it's anything you do in painting, you know, we're basically creating illusions. We're tricking the eye sometimes with, you know, we don't have to have all of the detail in order for the eye to make the association of something. So even though we're not developing these big billowy clouds, just by incorporating in these tonal values in the sky, it's giving the eye and the mind is going to say, oh, well, there's a layer of clouds there. That softens that up. And that's what this is about, is basically, you know, it's not important that we see every little cloud and every little thing that's happening there. Our focal point is going to be what's down here in the water, not what's up here in the sky. So we just basically are wanting to give the illusion again of what's happening in the sky, and the brain will take and figure the rest of it out. So I want to take same thing, only I'm doing it with the bigger brush. I just want to bring in a few little areas that are a little darker up here in the corners. And by doing this, what it does, again, it's going to bring the eye into our subject matter by taking and adding a little darker areas that are in the corners. And I'm just scrubbing in a little bit here with the larger brush. Just as you can see, even though I'm not adding really much paint to the canvas, just by taking and using this bigger brush, I'm maneuvering and moving the paint around on the surface, and by doing that, it really changes the whole feel and the look of the sky. So that looks pretty good. I like that a lot. So now I'm just going to just lightly blend this out. Really, really fine. I'm not doing much pressure here. Just letting the bristles basically do their work on the canvas. Now, the more I would take and work this, I could make this softer and softer and softer. And we may come back in the next week or two and incorporate in some brighter clouds. But I think for right now, we'll just leave it like it is. Now, I want to basically, I just wiped off the excess paint off of my brush, and I want to do the same thing I did with blending. I want to do that here with our water. And again, very, very, very light pressure that I'm applying, because I want to have that differentiation between the color values in the water. And if I work it too much, I'm going to kill that, and I don't want to. That's what's going to make this look good and develop as we go a little farther. So, I wanted to bring up too, really quickly, I'm going to grab that little 1/2-inch bristle brush that I was using. We're going to say that this landmass, this little piece that's coming into the ocean here, is quite distant. It's light, and we want this one a little, like it appears a little closer. So what we're going to do is just by bringing in a little more darker values, we can give the indication that this would be closer to us than what this landmass over here on the right would be. So that looks pretty good like that. Now, we started this little area down here. I want some of the sand to show, but when I brought in that brown because I hadn't cleaned my brush, I still had the phthalo blue. The phthalo blue, along with that burnt sienna, is going to make this kind of a greenish tone here, and I want that because I think what we're going to do is we're going to have some sand here, but where the ocean is breaking into the shore. But at the same time, I think I want to have maybe a little bit of an indication of maybe some sea grasses that might be growing up part of our on our beach along here. Love the colors that are in that, because you see such a variety of color in those grasses that oftentimes you see along the beach, depending on the time of year, obviously, just like anything else. But I would kind of like that. So this is quite dark, and the thing I also want to bring up is that this is only an underpainting, and a lot of people are confused by that term. What I refer to as underpainting is basically it's the base for which everything is developed off of. So we've got these dark colors. Basically, we've just tried to cover up our canvas, do a composition in those base colors, and then we can take and build on that. So that foundation is really important to build on. Just like anything else in life, that foundation is critical. So so we've got kind of that in place. Maybe we'll take with I'll put down that little bristle brush, and I'll grab my big 3-inch again. And I want to take, and I haven't cleaned my brush, if you noticed, and I just grabbed a little bit of that cad yellow and a little bit of the black that's there. And so by doing that, I've got kind of a little army green, if you will, type of a color, and I want to lighten it up just a little bit. And I want to just take just a little bit here in the corner and just start developing up a little bit of an indication that there's some grasses that are here in the foreground. And now this is not our final by a long ways, but at least it gives us a nice base, and we can bring in the lighter colors and highlight colors as the painting develops. But at least we've got a nice dark background in the tones that we're looking for there in this foreground area. So I kind of actually like that idea with a little bit of color, and I think I may incorporate in that a little bit into our distant hills that are over there. So I just used the same brush, haven't added any more paint. I'm just kind of bringing that color into that. It kind of gives the idea that there's some foliage over there in those distant hills. So we'll do the same thing over here on this landmass. Looks good. It kind of gives the idea that there's something going on over there rather than having just blue. And it's not real intrusive with the color. Now this one I want it darkened up a little bit, so I just grabbed a little bit of the phthalo blue and just dropping that in. And that's just by doing this motion here, given the idea of that there might be even some trees that might be over there in that distance. So that's a good start. I hope you're painting along with me, or maybe this inspires you to do a painting very similar yourself. And so this is something that you can see doesn't require a whole lot of work and not a whole lot of technique if you just know those base colors and are not afraid to experiment. That's I think the thing that so many people are afraid of is it's just the fear of I don't know what I'm doing, and that scares them. Grab some paint, grab a brush, start putting something down on a piece of paper or on a canvas, and I think you will find that it's really fun. It's something that might encourage you to, and you'll say, wow, I'd like to do something more. And that's what this is about, is trying to encourage you to be creative, to have that a part of your life. Like I said earlier, we start with a base coat, an underpainting, a foundation to which we can work. That equates into life as well. We need to have something in our life as a foundation, a strong rock that we can build upon. A lot of times people want the end result, and they are so focused on that that they're not willing to take and work the steps to build the foundation, to build it in the layers that it needs to grow and develop into who you want to be down the road. There's a lot of times in life we're knocked down and not encouraged to build. But take the time. If you will do it, you will have that growth in your life. I've experienced that in so many ways myself in the last few years. I've taken the time, encouraged by others to do that, and by doing it, I'm seeing the fruits of that now. So this week, be creative, work on your own life, building those foundations to grow towards where you want to go. Be creative, inspired, be blessed, and I'll see you next week here again on Art and Soul. Thank you for joining me.